Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
And welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose. With me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guide, and servant on the healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa Bryan+Post. Hope everyone is doing great for this episode. We're going to talk about where you can get the 4-point daily trauma checklist that every parent and every teacher should start their day with. And it's absolutely free. I'm going to tell you where to get that this evening. But first, let's talk about it. So, a couple months ago, a few months back actually, I was, and this is the checklist, I was doing a trauma-informed certification project, and I'm still working on it actually. It's one of my next books is the Trauma-Informed Handbook, based on this checklist. And I thought, you know what, wouldn't it be really cool if parents and teachers especially had a daily checklist that could bring them into the moment. Have you guys watched that? What was that movie where the guy takes the little pill and it like creates laser focus? That's kind of what I was thinking about for the checklist. If I could disseminate the 4 points, because there are really 4 points that you've got to focus in on every single day when it comes to working with traumatized children. So 4 points, hence the 4-point daily trauma checklist. Point number 1, we'll just call that number 1 right there, is awareness of self. This is actually where all trauma-informed practices have to start. And you'll hear a lot about trauma-informed practice. It's becoming very popular these days, that language, that lingo. But after this episode tonight, when you come across something that says it's trauma-informed, I want you to watch and observe the very first place they start. If a trauma-informed program or a trauma-informed practitioner does not start with awareness of self, they start off on the wrong focus. And you know when a ship is leaving the dock, if they are off by 1 degree, within a matter of hours, they'll be off by miles. So awareness of self is very important. So that is actually point number 1 of the 4-point checklist, and that's where it starts. So you have this little checklist that starts with awareness of self, and I give you these specific points that I want you to address. And this is going to take you 5 minutes, but it's 5 minutes that's going to focus you on the day and the task in hand. And so it starts with you, I am aware of my breathing, I am aware of my thoughts, I'm aware of my feelings, I'm aware of my body, and I am taking this moment to place all other concerns out of my immediate consciousness and am choosing to focus on my work and those I serve. So if you're a parent, I'm choosing to focus on my parenting and my children. So point number 2 is awareness of others. And this is typically your child or the students that you serve. So once you become aware of yourself, then you can shift your focus to the awareness of others. At awareness of others, I've been charged with the care of sensitive children or child. I am seeing him, her, them in my mind at this moment. Number 2 is I am placing the spirit of this child, who this child is, and what he or she, them, has experienced. So it's connecting you to their experience, just for a moment, in my heart center and allowing myself to feel love and compassion. This will guide me in connecting with him or her or them. So each of these individual children, you're going to start to see and be more mindful of every single day. I always say to teachers in a classroom, you can have 30 kids. Out of those 30 kids, you've got 3 really sensitive children. But there's 1 that gets the 2 going, and the 3 get the whole class going. So your best investment of your time, your energy, and your emotion is oftentimes in those three, but specifically that one. This is going to focus you in on that one. The other children, they don't need you. They have the ability to regulate themselves. Your ability to help them co-regulate is pretty simple. You can look at them and smile at them, and they come to school every day and they're excited. Same way with your children. Your children that aren't as trauma sensitive and aren't as stress exposed or trauma exposed, they don't need the parent or parental interaction as much. You can actually back off from them and let them use their regulatory ability and operate through each day. So it's the one who's got the really sensitive response system that needs you the most. Number 3 is awareness of environment. And this is where we shift our focus towards more of the sensory experience. See, we don't think about that on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. The sensory experience that these children deal with, and then we wonder why all of a sudden they're acting out and no one's seen anything going on. It's like all of a sudden, oh my gosh, what happened? So we're caught by surprise, but in reality, there's a lot of sensory input that's occurring with these children that we're not tuned into, that we're not mindful of. And so that's what we do here with this checklist. And so it says, number 1 is I am aware of the sensory environment and the challenges that it may present to my child. And then we list the visual, the auditory, the olfactory, smell, the gustatory, which is taste, tactile, which is touch, vestibular, which is balance, proprioceptive system, which is body awareness, interoceptive, which is digestion, temperature, and emotional awareness. So you've got to be aware of all 8 sensory pathways. Not that you have to know how to necessarily do anything with any single one of them, but it's the awareness, it's the mindfulness that makes all the difference. I am making adjustments in the sensory environment to best support the sensitive child in my care. So as you're going through the checklist, and again, this is really a 5-minute process. You're just making note, you're observing, and you're making what little subtle adjustments you may need to. I am checking in with and paying attention to the child to assess their reaction to the immediate environment. So that's just honing you in, your focus, you're just paying attention, you're just observing, you're making note. I am making ongoing adjustments in the sensory environment to best support the sensitive child in my care. So then you're just ongoing. It just brings you right into that focus. And you check off each one of these every time you go through it. And then number 4 is awareness of cognitive and emotional. This is just dialing you into your thought processes and your emotional process, and also bringing you more aware of what's going on with the child. So it's pretty simple. I am aware of, it's a blank, Brian's facial expression, posture, tone of voice, and reciprocal interaction. See, the reason I want you to do this daily checklist is because it is over time and repetition, it is going to bring you into a level of consciousness about all these subtleties that when you've been doing this for a while, you pay attention to these things automatically. So if I were to go into a school or if I go into someone's home, I automatically pay attention to all these little subtle things that if it's not within your paradigm, you don't think about it automatically. It's just like I can give you a tool, I can give you a technique, but I've been doing this for almost 20 years. So it's automatic. The repetition is automatic. And that's what I want you to get. That's why this checklist is so important, because it's repetition for you. I am aware of the structure and routines that have been created and am actively maintaining them. So last night or a couple days ago, I talked about structure. Being aware of the structure, being aware of the routines, and how important it is to continue to maintain them every single day. I am clear in my communication and expectations. So important. You want to be clear in the words you use. You want to be clear in the stated expectations that you may have. This allows the child to have predictability. It allows them to have consistency. I am being emotionally flexible and taking responsibility for the dynamics within my control. This is encouraging to be emotionally flexible. It's encouraging you to really consider the environment, consider the child, move out of that rigid place that stress can oftentimes bring us to, and into that more emotionally flexible place. So, that's the 4 points. Now, Let me tell you where you get it. And actually, you can just look in the title of the episode tonight, and I've already got it written in there for you. This is free of charge. You go to Post, Trauma, checklist.com, and you can download the checklist. Now, I was just looking at it, actually. I'm always making tweaks to stuff. I think if I shrink this image, I think I actually may be able to get all of this on one page, which was really my goal. I don't want a 2-page checklist. So this is front and back. You should print it off front and back, because just make it one full page. And I'm going to try to maybe tweak it and see if I can't get it on one just front page and see if that'll make it easier for you. But I want you to print off several of these. Like, I want you to print off enough for a month. Print off 30 of them. And I want you to do it every single day. Take 5 minutes every single day and do this checklist. And I'm going to do a extended training on the checklist, kind of go through each one more in depth with you and really kind of hone that focus in. And it'll probably be maybe a Saturday extended daily dose for you. But in the meantime, don't delay. Go posttraumachecklist.com. Download it, get it, print it off, read it, and plan on starting in the morning. Let's get mindful, let's be trauma informed, and let's start feeling better and making a big difference in our own lives as parents and professionals, and in the lives of our children. So remember, in any given situation, we always have 2 choices. We can continue to react from our same imprints of fear and overwhelm and stress, shock, or we can stop. We can take 3 to 10 deep breaths, and we can choose love. So God bless you. I hope you lay down tonight, and I hope your body is restored when you wake up in the morning. I hope you are refreshed. I hope you feel inspired. I hope you feel motivated. All the stress that you may have dealt with today, all the fear you may have dealt with today, the overwhelm you may have dealt with today, I hope that it dissipates through the night, goes away into the universe, and you are left restored and ready to bring love to a new day. So God bless you, and we will see you tomorrow.